Here's how we do some formatting of numbers. If you look at all these numbers that I have of various types, most of these are money. I'm going to actually insert two columns here. Insert one to the left. Do that a couple times. All right, if you remember, we did change and percent change before. Change again is the change in the closing price. So this would be the closing price of the later day minus the closing price of the earlier day. And that change will stay the same all the way, or the formula will stay the same all the way down. And then the same thing is true for percent change. We're going to get a formula here. The formula for percent change is we want to take the total change, which is right now in cell G3, and divide that by the previous amount, the previous closing price, which is E2. And there's my formulas I'll put in. I can drag that down and get some numbers. All right, these numbers are not really that nice to look at, especially when I know what types of numbers I'm dealing with. So let's start with the opening price. We know that this column and this column, the high, the low, the close, the change, the 5-day SMA and the 10-day SMA, every single one of those is actually representing money. So I can go over to here and highlight those cells. If I hit Command or Control, if you're on a PC, and select more rows or columns that I know should be in dollar format, and I can select all of those at the same time, or you can do them individually. But if I select all those and I go to the dollar sign, then I know I can have them in the dollar format. Now let's say for whatever reason I actually want them to have certain decimal places, then I can increase how many decimal places I use if I really want to. Where this might be beneficial is when you're dealing with stocks, sometimes prices that go to the thousandths of a dollar, or essentially if you think about that, that's the tenth of a penny. Those are sometimes helpful when you're dealing with multitudes of stocks at the same time. But that may or may not be exactly what we're going for. So we'll just leave it in dollars in true sense there. Volume is technically just a number in that we can look at. It's millions, or sometimes it's thousands, whatever. Now there are more formats we can choose from. For instance, I can choose a number like this, and you'll notice that it'll put commas in there for me. So maybe you want commas in there for your volume because you find that easier to read and to look at. You're welcome to do that. You can even reduce the number of decimal points that are used, so maybe it's just a whole number, like it should be, because volume is dealing with shares. My change again is in a price or a money amount, so I should leave that there. My percent change, that's supposed to be a percentage. So again, the shortcut for that is right here, percent. And percents are rounded to the nearest hundredth of a percent, typically, when you hit that button. And of course, you can increase or decrease the amount of decimal places that you use there.